Hello and welcome to this little Colonial Marines RMC14 tutorial. Right now we've got a guy down with a parasite on him. I'm playing as a medic today, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how I play medic, some of the mistakes I make, some of the things I do right, how I handle my processes. For people who are infected, you're usually going to want to medevac them. You can sometimes drag them to the Alamo if the Alamo is right next to the fob and you've got them right there. Otherwise, you're going to want to medevac them. As you saw there on the health analyzer, it doesn't show up that they're infected, but they are. They'll start showing signs eventually: sneezing, coughing, shaking. Those usually tell you how far along the person is. I believe sneezing is one of the last ones, and then they've got like a minute or so left once they start sneezing and shaking really violently. As you can see now, we don't have comms. I was going to try and call up and get somebody to bring this guy up. Whenever you try and medevac somebody who's infected, you're going to want to use the stasis bag, which that slows down the progression of the infection and allows them to live a little bit longer. But we've got this guy on the gurney. The beacon isn't active right now, I believe. I don't know if you'll be able to see that in the video, but the little lights on there aren't on, and that means that it is inactive, so they can't pull him up. I'm trying to get the other guy to go and talk to the SL to see if he can call up and get somebody to bring this guy up. But eventually he realizes he has a phone, and so he pulls it out to start making a call. But in the middle of his call, he actually does get pulled up. So the Alamo was either waiting and was like checking their medevac system, or somebody got a hold of them. Either way, we managed to get this guy up, and he should get back to the doctors and be just fine. Yeah, as you can see here, we've got a few little casualties down. I'm looking around, trying to see if any of my squads pushed up and got hurt. I'm trying to heal this guy currently, because he was calling for a medic. But he doesn't want to hold still for me, and his buddy actually yanks him away when he finally stops for me to heal him. I'm trying to heal him with my surgical line. Surgical line's good. It heals some amount of brute damage, some instantly and some over time. It's completely unlimited, won't ever run out. Don't lose it as a medic. It is the #1 thing you want to be using the majority of the time, unless you don't have time. That and your surgical graft, it's the same thing but for burns. So surgical line does brute, unlimited, but it doesn't do it instantly. Surgical graft does the same thing for burns. Alright, and here in the next little portion we're going to see a group of Marines pushing into the choke. And here comes the Queen, and I've got all these Marines pushing me, trying to get up to hit the Queen, and not a single person shakes me and tries to, get me out of my stun. I thought that was a little bit rude, a little bit mean, but that's just how they are. I was going to say something, but then we got boiled. I see this guy, I start pulling him out. The other medic grabs him, and one of the squad leader grabs him, so I'm just going to toss his gun back for him. And then as soon as we got him out of the way, I'm going to start applying a little bit of my surgical line to him, or actually my surgical graft to him, so he heals up. Boils are mostly burn damage, if I'm remembering right. They do a lot of damage, especially if you go down, you go crit in one, it will do a lot of damage, so you want to try and drag people out. If you can, don't ever sacrifice yourself to drag somebody out of a bad situation. And I also mentioned what drugs I'm kind of putting into them. I don't have actual GC, I just put in whatever. And here in the next clip, just a couple of seconds later, you're going to see neurotoxin. Neurotoxin's pretty bad because it will knock people unconscious and do damage and all other kinds of stuff. Got a wider radius, so it's a little bit worse. As you can see, I'm trying to get to this guy, but we've got 3 medics on this guy right now. Typical courtesy. Whenever I go to work on somebody, I let the first medic who was on the guy do the defibribbing and all the chemicals. I just do surgical line and skin grafts. And you can see me here complaining about the Marines who were jagging me around while I was trying to heal. It's a big problem with a lot of Marines is that they'll just kind of shove you whenever you're doing something like using a laser designator or trying to heal somebody. As you can see, I'm over here healing this guy, and for this guy, since I was the first one on him, I'm also explaining to this other medic how his synthcraft works. But since I was on him, I'm going to be the one to do the epi, especially since the other guy left. I say epi in. You always want to say whenever you're giving a drug injection, you've got another medic there working. I stripped the guy, put his armor in his hand. I don't put his gun in his hand this time. And then I use my defibrillator. You got to activate it and deactivate it when you're not using it. I'm trying to save battery because it will run out of battery and you will have to recharge it at a recharger. As you can see, this guy's still in crit after I defibrillate him. I think he just needed some Dexlin or something. Maybe more than I gave him because I just had normal Dexlin. I don't have Dexlin Plus. Like I said, I don't have actual general cure in this match. But yeah, I get him back up. And they're going to have to sit for a little bit to regain their health from the surgical line and the subcraft. Up here, we're up by containers. I'm showing you basically what you might see in a supply drop. How I went about this. So I went up there and I right-clicked on looking and I'm like, I don't see a labeled backpack or anything like that right there. And I'm also going to let the other medic try and get into it a little bit before I yank it up. And I look around and I don't see anything too useful to me besides the stasis pegs. Stasis pegs are usually one of those things that you're going to use quite a lot of on an operation. Just infinitely useful for getting infected people out. But so I just take one. I didn't want to deplete all the supplies because I didn't need anything there, and it's better to let other people use things if you are going to actually have use for them. And as you can see right here, we've got a queen situation. I'm trying to get up there to the front line, but people are kind of my way. Here in the next clip, we're doing a little bit of cooperative work here with the other doctor. As you can see, I just do drag line and surgical line and crafts. This is actually our smart gunner who has went SSD after being killed near the front line. This is why you don't just instantly ghost the second you get killed. I know it sucks to get killed at a push and you think, oh, the sky's falling. Just try and hang in there. The game can be frustrating sometimes, I know, but it would have been really nice to have a smart gun operator right at this exact moment. I do believe. And this is really bad. This is like worst case scenario. Mass casualty, everybody getting sick. I'm trying to click this guy and I keep accidentally dragging this little icon. I see a crushers, I see, you know, it's not a good situation all around. So I go back and I start trying to tend to some of the these casualties that we have, and you'll see that I make a little bit of a misplay here. I actually don't do what I should have done here. So you're going to see that they brought in Alpha's medic here. Alpha's medic went down in that. As soon as I finished with this, I think weapon specialist, I should have went right to them, but I didn't. Getting medics up is kind of important. It lets them get back up and start healing other people. So there's a little bit of a misplay on my part. Now, as you can see, I'm defibrillating. I noticed I haven't used a single of my Marilane Bicardium pills or my Chelatane Dermaline pills or my iron pills yet at all. And I've barely been using my ghetto general cure, which is just Bicardium and Chelatane and tricordrazine. You can see the little distortions from the queen screeching out there. I was kind of too close to the front, but I got away with it this time. You can see me suturing this guy out. You can see that guy out there on fire. I look out and I'm like, dang, that's fucked. It's the other smart gun operator. Or no, that's a fire team leader. That's not a smart gun operator, that's a fire team leader. But yeah. Oh, the other thing is putting armor and weapons back in the hands of soldiers as you defibrillate them. That's just usually etiquette. You can't just drop them. It makes clicking on them a little bit harder though. But if you just drop it right into their hands, they'll have it right as soon as they wake up. They can put it back on, because you cannot defibrillate somebody if they have their armor on. It just won't let you. So, and this guy gets back up. He's pretty low health. I'm looking around, trying to get a picture of the scenario we're in. And as you can see, it's not looking too good. Command shortly after this basically orders a retreat to Fob, and then they decide to hold and see if Foxtrot comes out. And basically see if Foxtrot comes out and see if maybe they can do like any kind of maneuvering after Foxtrot comes out. I think at this point we've lost like a lot of people. Like basically the entirety of one squad. And you see here I'm helping out with another medic. You always want to help out other medics if you can, help bring people back up faster. And then this is the next clip. Yeah, basically we are pushing back up into the caves. Not a smart move. But hopefully with Foxtrot coming around, we should be able to. This guy is actually the guy with an SSD. I might have been mistaken. He already has his weapon and gun in his hand, so here I'm gonna get him back up and hope that he helps us out. As you can see, he's SSD'd. He doesn't have any of his faculties, and here I am trying to heal this person back up to get them out. And we're going to see here shortly that I probably should have moved further back, but better yet, we probably shouldn't have went back up into the caves, because there was a little bit of a push that the Xenos did, a little bit of a play that they did that was pretty rough for us. And it wasn't very good. See, I'm taking the guy's armor and weapon off, and I'm getting ready to defibrillate him. And you can see the distortion from a Queen Screech. I tell the guy I did epinephrine in. And yeah, the other doctor defibrillates him, so I go on and I start looking at maybe what I should be doing at the moment. I'm gonna do like a little bit of CPR to reduce this guy's oxygen damage, so that he gets out of crit faster. And that's our squad lead, actually. Our other guy died, I think, from the, from what I understand of the round, I think the other guy died, and so he became our squad lead automatically. You can see here, just a little bit later, we are up near there, and I get stunned by a Queen Screech. I shouldn't have been standing there. And here they come, and I try and grab the guy. I mess it up. I kind of don't want them to get this this SSD player, this sudden sleep disorder player, like a free cap for the Xenos. Already doing well enough, honestly. I wish SOP would let me just gun this kind of person down, so that the Xenos don't get a cap, because I can't really take them with me. And you see me making a call out here, telling people, hey, what's up? Queen is northeast. We see this guy here, the doctor trying to get him up, so I figure I'll stop and help this Charlie doctor out. Squad lead punches them, says shit. That wasn't very good of him. And you also see the doctor here struggle with a stasis bag. Rollerbed would have been better. They weren't going to rot super fast. They point at me as if I'm going to do something. I just have a Mark 80. I'm very under-equipped for this scenario. And you can see the Xenos actually fumble a cap right there. I try and pick up a gun and see if I can't shoot back, but that has nothing in it. So I go back up and I try and get my gun. But I'm hurt at this point, and it's kind of looking like a retreat scenario, like a we're gonna leave scenario. But I go over here and I'm looking around. And I find a safe spot and I try and heal myself up a little bit. Alright, and here comes the last clip. I want you to tell me what's wrong with this. We regrouped, went back to FOB, and came back out here. And you'll look at the situation. I want you to tell me where did it all go wrong? Especially for you Marine players. What was wrong with this little situation? Because I'll tell you, we had way too many people grouped up, and a queen was off Avi. And you'll see here in a minute the queen's going to push out and cause quite a bit of a ruckus. Yep, there's the queen, there's the screech. Nobody pushes in to shake, and we kind of get tore up before anything can happen with that. I try and pull out my gun to shoot a little bit. I drop it because I get knocked to the ground temporarily. And I look at this Ravager, and I look at the cave, and I see other Marines, and I'm like, alright, I've got to make a decision here, because I got the queen behind me, I've got one Ravager. One Ravager is way better than an entire queen plus the rest of the Xeno Ward. So I push back out that way. And as you can see, here in a minute, I'm going to actually get squad lead, because the guy that had it before me died. If you become squad lead as a medic, you know it is gone. So it is down to the wire. Medic is like the last one to get squad lead, I think, in the entire order, basically, except for like maybe a rifleman. I peek back out, bad move. I should have just left earlier, but the queen comes up, beats me up a little bit, and I go back and I say, all right, I've had enough. I'm squad lead. Everybody's dead. It is time to retreat, because anybody that's left has either been capped or killed. And especially with the Xenoball like that, it's just not happening. And so you see me pull out, and I'm going to make a declaration on my radio here, telling people that if anybody's left, please just run the fuck away, because that's what I'm going to do. I have no gun at this point because I dropped my Mark 80. I'm injured. And you'll see this little guy here. All I've got's a knife, so I've got to try and melee him to make him think that I'm crazy enough to actually kill him that way. But here in a minute, you're going to see my life unceremoniously ended as the Xeno comes back. And a few more show up to finish the job. That's the end of poor Wendy out here doing the medic thing. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and even if you didn't, hopefully you enjoyed watching me get my ass kicked by the Xenos. So thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day.